Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Welcome back to your chemistry class. Hope all of you are fine and safe. Today I will discuss about characteristics of ionic and covalent bonds. There are different characteristics of ionic and covalent bonds. Among them, today I will discuss about melting point and boiling point, solubility and electrical conductivity. Before discussing characteristics, you have to review once the bonding process of ionic and covalent. You know that in ionic bond, mainly electron is transferred from one atom to another atom, and as a result there are formed positively charged ion, cation, and negatively charged ion or anion. But in case of covalent bond, electron is not transferred here. Mainly here electron is shared between two atoms like this way, and for this they are not formed any cation or anion, they just form a molecule. So in ionic bond electron is transferred and as a result there is formed cation and anion, but in covalent bond electron is shared and form a molecule. Now I will discuss the characteristics. At first, melting and boiling points. You know that melting and boiling points actually the temperature at which a solid substance converted into its liquid or a liquid substance converted into its gaseous state. In case of ionic compounds, you know that here the oppositely charged ions, that is cation and anion, are held together by strong electrostatic attraction force, and for the force is so strong, for this here a lot of energy, that is heat energy, is needed to break this bond. For this the melting point and boiling point of ionic compounds are generally so high because their ionic bond is so strong. But in case of covalent compounds, among the covalent molecules there is actually remains a very weak intermolecular attraction force, that is known as weak van der Waals force. For this it is easily broken down and converted into its liquid or gaseous state due to very less heat energy. So the melting and boiling point of covalent compounds are generally low. Now follow the value of melting and boiling points of different ionic or covalent compounds, such as iodine. You know that iodine is a covalent molecule, but it is in solid state, and its melting point and boiling points are this 113 and 184. Methane is also a covalent molecule and its melting temperature is negative in minus 182.5 and minus 161.5, because here methane is actually remains in gaseous state, and for this their melting and boiling temperature is very low. But sodium chloride, you know very well, sodium chloride is a ionic compound, and due to strong attraction force, a strong bond, ionic bond, their melting point and boiling point is so high, and that is 801 and 1465. Similarly, sodium carbonate is also a ionic compound. For this its melting and boiling point is also so high. Sugar is a covalent molecule and its melting and solid state remains in solid state. For this its melting temperature is 146, but its boiling temperature is not present because its boiling point determination is so tough. Before boiling it actually breaks down into its constituent atoms, that means reaction temperature is started. Now water is also a covalent molecule, and it remains is in liquid state, and for this its melting temperature is 0 and boiling point, you know that, 100 degree centigrade. And dear students, also observing the melting and boiling point value, you can gauge the physical state of the compound. When the value is so high, you can consider those compounds are obviously remains in solid state, that means they are solid compounds. And when the value is so less, so that compound must be present in a gaseous state, and comparatively less value than solid state, you can consider that that is liquid substance. So observing the melting and boiling value, also we can understand which are solid, which are gaseous, and which are liquid substance. Now follow the another table. Here lithium chloride. Lithium chloride is also a ionic compound, and for this its melting and boiling temperature is so high. Barium chloride is also a ionic compound, but carbon tetrachloride, it is a covalent compound. And nitrogen trichloride, it is also a covalent compound. For this its melting and boiling points are very low. Then these compounds are following the value, also you can say these are covalent molecules. Sodium chloride is also an ionic compound. For this they have high melting and boiling point. Magnesium chloride is also ionic compound. Like this way, actually following the follow here potassium chloride 772 and 1407. That means following the melting and boiling temperature, also we can gauge about the bonding process of that compound. It's either ionic compound or covalent compound. Also we can understand this by observing the melting point and boiling point. Now I will discuss about solubility. Solubility means the ability of a compound to dissolve in solvent, generally water. You know that in case of ionic compounds when goes into water, they are ionized. That means they are dissociates into ions, constituent ions, cations and anions, and like this way they are easily soluble in water. So all ionic compounds are actually water soluble. But in case of covalent compounds, not all covalent compounds are soluble in water, but some covalent compounds such as sugar, glucose, ethanol, etc. are soluble in water. Today I will discuss about these characteristics of covalent compounds, and this characteristics is known as polar covalent bonds. Polar covalent bonds, that means polarization. This is a characteristics of covalent compounds in which a compound actually contains opposite charges. That means when a covalent, you know that in covalent compound there is not present any charged ions, but when any covalent compounds can create opposite charges in its molecule, then that creation of opposite charges or the presence of opposite charges in a molecule is actually known as polarization. And the covalent compounds which contains these polarization characteristics, they are known as polar covalent bonds or polar covalent compounds. Polarization occurs mainly due to electronegativity difference. Electronegativity, already you learned this in your previous class. Electronegativity means bonding electrons attracted more strongly by one atom than by the other atom. So when, that means follow here, this is simply a covalent bond where two atoms are share their electrons. but this is polar covalent bond. That means when the shared electron are attracted more by any one atom. Here follow this, the shared electron are attracted more by this atom. For this, in this side there is created negatively charged end, and in opposite side there is created positively charged end. That means opposite charged are created in this molecule. So this is polar covalent molecule, and this is totally ionic compound because this is a positively charged ion, cations, and this is anions. So like this way also ionic character is increased in a covalent molecule. Follow here, in covalent molecule at first ionic character is very less, that is 0, but when polarization occurs then ionic character is actually increases, isn't it? Because already opposite charges are arises, and in ionic bond ionic character is highest. So like this way polarization occurs in covalent molecule, and for this opposite charges are arises in covalent molecule. Follow the next picture. Here now you can say, how can you understand which are polar and which are non-polar? Yes, actually there is following a range of electronegativity difference. That means when the electronegativity difference of the constituent atoms lies between 0.5 to 1.7, then that covalent compounds are actually polar covalent compounds. And when the electronegativity difference value is less than 0.5, then that will be non-polar covalent compound. And when this electronegativity difference is more than 1.7, then it will must be a ionic compounds. Actually in higher class you will learn more about this. In that higher classes you have to know the electronegativity value of each atom, then you can easily determine the electronegativity difference of the constituent atoms, and by this way you can also clearly understand which are polar and which are non-polar covalent bonds. But here just to make you more clear, I explain this phenomenon about the value of electronegativity difference, but this is not actually necessary for you because this is not explained in your book. Just you know that when the electronegativity difference, for example the electronegativity value of carbon is 2.1, whereas hydrogen is 2.5. So in case of methane, what will be the electronegativity difference? 2.5 minus 2.1, that is 0.4, and this is less than 0.5. So methane is non-polar covalent compounds, and for this methane is not soluble in water. But the electronegativity value of oxygen is 3. So in case of carbon dioxide, what will be the electronegativity difference? Carbon is 2.1 and oxygen is 3. So the difference will be 0.9, and which lies between 0.5 and 1.7. That means it is polar covalent compound, and for this carbon dioxide gas is soluble in water. I hope now you can clearly understand about the electronegativity difference. So if you know the electronegativity value of constituent atoms and you can determine the difference correctly, then you can easily understood which will be polar covalent compound and which will be non-polar covalent compound. Now similar things you can found in this picture. Here this is a chlorine molecule, covalent molecule, and you know that chlorine molecule the electronegativity difference will be 0 because both of chlorine atom the same electronegative value, so difference will be 0. So this is actually non-polar covalent compound. But in case of hydrogen chloride, here the electronegativity difference actually lies between 0.5 to 1.7, so it is polar covalent bond compound. And in case of sodium chloride, the electronegativity difference is greater than 1.7, so it is ionic compound. So like this way, ionic character is actually increasing. Now follow the polar molecules. Follow here, this is water molecule, and you know that water molecule contains one oxygen atom and two hydrogen atom. And due to polarization, that means due to electronegativity difference, follow here, hydrogen I have said 2.5 and oxygen 3, so the electronegativity difference will be 0.5. So it is a polar molecules, polar covalent molecules. So like this way, in hydrogen side there will be positively charged, and in oxygen side, due to more electronegative value, it will be negatively charged. Like this way, opposite charges are formed in water molecule. Also another covalent molecule, follow here how the positive charge and negative charge arises in a covalent molecule. So these are actually the polar covalent molecules. Follow the next picture. How a polar covalent molecules dissolve in water. Water, follow here, solvent is water, and water itself is a covalent, polar covalent molecules. So here in hydrogen side there is positively charged arises, and in oxygen side there is negatively charged arises. But when another covalent molecule, that is sugar, is mixed with water, then what will happen? In covalent molecule, like this way, polarization occur, negatively charged and positively charged. When these sugar particles are mixed with water, then what will happen? The sugar particles are just surrounded by the opposite charges. Follow here, the negative part of the solute sugar molecules are surrounded by the positive end of water molecules, and the positive part of sugar molecules are surrounded by the negative part of water molecules. Like this way, is sugar molecules are surrounded by the opposite charged end of water molecules, and sugar is dissolved or soluble in water. This positive side is surrounded by negative side, and this negative side is surrounded by positive side. Like this way, polar covalent compounds are dissolved in polar solvent, that is water. Now follow the next picture. Here you can easily understand how the ionic compound and covalent compound are soluble in water. Polar covalent compound are soluble in water. Ionic compound, for example, sodium chloride salt. You know that sodium chloride salt contains positively sodium ion and negatively charged chloride ion. When the salt is mixed with water, then they are ionized. Follow here, sodium ion is separated from the molecules, chloride ion is separated. Sodium ion, chloride ion are separated from the molecules, and this negatively charged ion is surrounded by the positively charged end of the water molecule, and these positively charged ions are surrounded by the negatively charged end of the water molecules. Like this way, all ionic compounds are soluble in water. And in case of polar covalent molecule, already you have seen the positive end of the solid particles are surrounded by the negative end of the solvent molecules, and the negative end of the solid particles are surrounded by the positive end of the solvent molecules. And like this way, polar covalent compounds are also dissolved in water. So I hope you can easily or clearly understand about the solubility of ionic compound and polar covalent compound in water. Now I will discuss about electrical conductivity. You know that to conduct electricity, there is necessary two things. One, the presence of electron, that is the flow of electron, and another one is the presence of movement of free ions. And you know that in ionic compound in melted state or in aqueous solution, that means when it is mixed with water, in these two cases, in liquid state or in solution state, the ionic compounds are fully ionized. That means ions can freely move. For this, the ionic compounds in melted state, that means liquid state of ionic compound and solution of ionic compounds, can easily conduct electricity, because in these two states the free movement of ions is occurred. But in solid state it is not conduct electricity. Why? Because in solid state the free movement of ions is not occurred. Follow the next picture. Follow here. In solid state, the ions are fixed in the lattice. They cannot move freely. For this, they cannot conduct electricity. But in molten or aqueous solution, the ions are freely move. For this, they can conduct electricity. Now, how they conduct electricity? Follow this picture. If you take a solution of ionic compound, then ions are freely move. Positively charged ions and negatively charged ions freely moves in this solution. And these two are metal bar, two metallic rod, inert. These two rods are called electrodes. And this is inert because these two metallic or non-metallic, also graphite rod can be used here. These are actually chemically inactive here. For this it is called inert. So when these two metallic or non-metallic rods are connected with a battery, if one rod is connected with the positive end of the battery and another rod is connected with the negative end of the battery, then it will be positively charged electrode and it will be negatively charged electrode. And positively charged electrode is called anode and negatively charged electrode is called cathode. Why? Because anode attracts anion. Anode itself positively charged, but it attracts negatively charged ion, that is anion. For this it is known as anode. Anode attracts anion, for this it is called anode. And cathode attracts cation, for this it is called cathode. Now, if you connect here one bulb, then you can see bulb is glowing. Why? Because inside the solution there is freely move ions, and when the switch on of this circuit, then what will happen? The negatively charged ions are attracted by anode and positively charged ions are attracted by cathode. That means there is present free movement of ions and electron is flowing from anode to cathode. For this, bulb is glowing, or you can measure the flow of electricity using an ammeter. So like this way, all ionic compounds in molten or aqueous solution, they can conduct electricity. But in case of covalent compounds, they cannot conduct electricity. Why? Because covalent compounds cannot form any free ions. You know that covalent bonds are formed by sharing of electrons. But in case of polar covalent compound, just there arises opposite charge at two ends, but these charges are not freely moved. That means in covalent molecules there is not present any ions, free ions. For this, covalent solution of covalent compounds cannot conduct electricity. For this, salt water solution can conduct electricity, but pure water solution or glucose solution or sugar solution cannot conduct electricity because they are simply covalent molecule. But one question may arise in your mind, why hydrogen chloride solution is conduct electricity? Yes, hydrogen chloride solution conduct electricity because hydrogen chloride is a acid, and you will learn this about this in next chapter, chapter 9. Acid solution can conduct electricity because acid in water can produce hydrogen ion. That means all acids produces in water hydrogen ion, positively charged ion and also negatively charged ion, and for this acid solution conduct electricity, though it is a covalent molecule. So my dear students, I hope you can clearly understand about the electrical conductivity of ionic and covalent molecules. So from the today's lecture, you can easily compare between these two bonds, ionic and covalent bonds, by different points. For example, bond formation, you know that electrons are transferred and here electrons are shared. Type of structure, there is crystal lattice structure, and this is actually a molecules. Physical state, generally solid and generally liquid or gas. Melting point, generally high, generally low. Solubility in water, yes, they are soluble but usually not. And in case of polar covalent compound, this is soluble. Electrical conductivity, in solution or liquid state, it can conduct electricity, but covalent compounds cannot conduct electricity. And other properties, that means this is ionic compounds are generally orderless, but it is odorless. So like this way you can easily compare between these two bonds. So my dear students, today up to this, and next class I will discuss about metallic bond. So up to that, goodbye and thank you.